fire with everyone. Indian fever. You can be part of the fun. You're the winner at every game. That's where the excitement begins. So catch Indian fever. Be a believer with the Cleveland Indians.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the November 23rd, 2018 Lake County Sentinel Podcast, live from our studios in Wickliffe, Ohio. I'm your host, Tim Shirer, publisher and sports editor of the Lake County Sentinel. It is Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, where we probably all ate too much. I ate well yesterday. It was really nice. Went over to my wife's aunt's house. She cooked. My wife helped. My son Tommy helped. It was an incredibly good dinner. I have to say the macaroni and cheese that Tommy made was, oh God, was it good. It was so good. And I love macaroni and cheese. So to say that it was good, it had to be really good. So that's, Thanksgiving was good. I hope it was good for everybody else. I know this time of year can be hard on people if they've lost a loved one or depression. But hopefully it was good for everyone, and it was a nice day for me. I enjoyed watching all the football games, and it was, there were some good games yesterday. I mean, I thought they were all good. I thought that the last game, the Saints and the Falcons probably was the most disappointing of the day. The Falcons just aren't very good. They're not very good this year. But the Saints are really good. The Saints are a really good football team. And they're 10-1 now. Their only loss was to the Buccaneers week 1. They've won 10 in a row. And I have to say I'm kind of surprised at this. I didn't think their defense would be as good this year. So I thought they would struggle a little bit defensively, but they haven't. They struggled the first week against Tampa, and then after that they got it fixed, and they've been really good. They haven't had a lot of injuries on defense, which is always a positive thing. When you don't have injuries, you can perform, and that's been a good thing for them. But their offense is just, it's the normal New Orleans offense. Drew Bress is one of the, greatest quarterbacks of all time, and definitely one of the top quarterbacks in the league right now. It amazes me when Bress is not in this conversation as the best quarterback in the league. That's ridiculous. He's as good as Brady and Rodgers. He is. He's as good as Brady and Rodgers. Don't tell me he's not. He is. So that was probably the most disappointing game of the day because it was a blowout. The Falcons are not very good, and the Saints are very good. So unfortunately, the Cowboys won, and they're still in the, they're tied for their division lead, which is, I wish that wasn't the case. And the Bears beat the Lions without Mitchell Trubisky, which was, it shows that they're a good team. They won without him. And Khalil Mack didn't have the greatest day, and their defense still played well. So, excuse me. So those were Thanksgiving games, and they were good. And it was nice not to have to worry about anything during the Thanksgiving Day games. I'll say that, except watching them. So the Browns and Bengals play on Sunday. They're going to, it's the renewal of the Battle of Ohio. I believe, if I'm correct, it's the 101st Battle of Ohio. I would have to think the Bengals lead the series now. I don't have the numbers. That's on me. That's bad. I should have the numbers. But I believe the Bengals leave the Battle of Ohio now, simply because the Browns have just been so bad the last, for the most part, the last 19 years. I mean, when you're that bad, and you've played, 38 games in a rivalry, chances are you're going to lose the lead in the rivalry. When there's been 100 matchups and you've been bad for 38 years, or for 18 years of the matchup, which is 38 games, chances are you're probably behind in the in the all-time series. I'll get that before the end of the show. Even if I find it during the political portion of the show, I'll give that, but I should have it here soon. But it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good game on Sunday. The problem is for the Browns at this point. They are a young team. The good thing for the Browns is AJ Green is out. That's good for the Browns. If AJ Green is out, that is the guy who has killed them for his entire career. For him not to be playing is really good. So that will help the Browns. But close games right now. Close games for young teams. Okay, this is actually the 90th Battle of Ohio. Okay, so it's not the 101st. I don't know where I got that from, but this is the 90th Battle of Ohio, and Cincinnati leads the series 50-39. But it would be interesting. I can look here. It would be interesting to see what the record in the series was prior to the Browns leaving in 1995. I would have to think it was very close. The Browns have won a few times since they came back. I remember the year Derek Anderson, they were good in 2007, and Derek Anderson led them to a very high-scoring game. It's actually still the second highest-scoring game, I believe, in NFL history. So there have been some good games in this rivalry since the Browns came back. I mean, most of it has been, Bengals, and that's kind of tough. But I think the Browns have won, the Browns have won 11 times since they came back. That's not great. 11-27 since they came back. So it's not really, it's not a good record, but they have won some time. They have won some games since they came back in this rivalry. It just seems like they haven't. They actually won 3 straight and 5 out of 6 from November 25th, 2001 until October 17th, 2004. The Browns won 5 out of 6. They did. They won 5 out of 6 games. So with Butch Davis as the coach, they actually handled the Bengals pretty well. But then they fell into a streak where they lost a bunch in a row, and then they won 2 out of 3. In 2007, the was a high scoring game, but actually the highest scoring game, which is second highest in NFL history, was November 28th, 2004, when the two teams matched up, and the Bengals won the game 58-48, and it was a battle. Okay, there were 4 scores in the first quarter. The Bengals led 14-10 after the first quarter. At halftime, it was 27-13 Bengals. There were 4 more scores in the second quarter. In the third quarter, they had to do one better. There were 5 scores. At the end of the third quarter, the score was 41-34. And then in the fourth quarter, there were 5 scores. And it ended up 58-48 in favor of the Bengals. Kelly Holcomb was the Browns quarterback that day. Phil Dawson was the Browns kicker. He had 2 field goals. 2 field goals? Looks like he probably, he had 2 field goals. And let's see. It was Steve Hayden caught 3 touchdowns that day. Former Browns tight end Steve Hayden. He had a 1-yard touchdown pass from Holcomb, a 20-yard touchdown pass from Holcomb, and a 7-yard touchdown pass from Holcomb. Chad Johnson scored a touchdown for the Bengals that day. Their kicker Shane Graham, he kicked 3 field goals that day. It looks here like the Browns were attempting to. The Browns were driving near the end of the game. They were down 51-48. And with 1 minute and 43 seconds left in the game, Holcomb threw a 31-yard an interception to Deltha O'Neal. And the Bengals got a pick 6, 31-yard pick 6, which clinched the game. It was 58-48 at that point, and the Browns lost the game. So that's the second highest scoring game in NFL history. The Browns fell in that game 58-48, but the Browns have won, other games recently. I mean, they won, like I said, that game in 2007, they won 51-45. I believe that was the second week of the season at Derek Anderson's first start. And that propelled the Browns to a 10-6 season, but they didn't make the playoffs. They fell short. But that was a pretty good year for the Browns. So, yeah, it hasn't been good recently. The Browns have dropped the last 7 contests, and it's not real good. Let's hope that maybe Sunday things will change and the Browns will get back on track. It would be really great to see if they could. I think that they've got a they can. So I think that it's going to be a close game. And the Browns are young. They could win. They're confident right now. I think that they would like to beat the Bengals because Hugh Jackson's on their sidelines. But I feel like they might fall a little bit short. A close game. A close game is going to go to the veteran team, and that's the Bengals. But so I think the Browns are going to probably lose the game close by a point or 2. I'm not going to give a score, but I think the Bengals will win a close game. I know that's not popular, but that's just how I feel. And I'm not done very well with picks lately, so maybe it's a good thing that I'm picking the Bengals. And remember the Cavs play tonight in Philadelphia at 7:30. They play the Sixers. The Sixers are 13-7. The Cavs are 2-14. The Cavs seem to play well against teams that are pretty good, so maybe they might have a shot tonight. I don't know. Probably not, but Sixers have added Jimmy Butler lately, which helps them. So we'll see what happens there. Now, that is pretty much the end of our sports show for tonight. We're now going to go to the political portion of the show. We will have a special end of the show tonight, so you probably will want to tune in. You want to stay tuned, but when we come back, we're going to talk. All right, and welcome back to the Lake County Sentinel Podcast. This part of the show is where we're going to talk a little bit about politics and some news events that are going on in the world today. So I found some interesting comments yesterday. Well, I heard some interesting comments yesterday from our leader, Donald Trump, when he talks about how he's so thankful for himself. He's thankful for himself on Thanksgiving and what he's done for our country. You know, he's not thankful for anything else. He's thankful for himself. I mean, are you kidding me? And his followers and the people that voted for him, you know, oh, they're all for it. That's great. It's just great. And they love it. You know, they just love it. So, you know, I think that it's pretty sad that people still are supporting him and think no matter what he says, it's right. I think it's amazing that these people still support this act. Could you imagine if Barack Obama came on and said, I'm thankful for myself this Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for what I've done for the country. Do you know what those hateful supporters would say? What those Trump supporters would say about him? They'd rip him apart. They'd make fun of him. They'd say horrible things about him. You know, these are the same people that called, you know, Michelle Obama an ape, Michelle Obama a tank, you know, those people. But they think that it's okay that Donald Trump thanks himself for Thanksgiving. This guy, actually, should we have even been surprised at this? Should we have even been surprised that Donald Trump thanked himself for Thanksgiving? No, he better thank himself now, because there's a good chance once this Mueller investigation is done and the Democrats are in Congress, take control of Congress, he might not be in the White House next year to thank himself for making the country great. You know, somebody else might be running the show then. Wouldn't it be funny? I thought of this today after the election. Wouldn't it be funny if, you know, the line of succession goes president to vice president to Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House. Wow. Worst nightmare. Worst nightmare. Almost the worst nightmare for Trump supporters would be if Trump were impeached and left office, and then somehow they had evidence on Mike Pence. And Mike Pence was forced out of office. And, oh, this just makes me laugh. It's great. And Nancy Pelosi became president of the United States if she becomes Speaker of the House again. How would that be? How would that be for Trump supporters? They would lose their mind. They would absolutely lose their mind. It would be a nightmare for them. So he better be thankful that he's in the White House now. He should be thankful because he may not be there next year at this time. I think that we're at a very close point now where things could turn for him. And he knows it. He's going to deny it, and he's going to say that the investigation is a hoax and a witch hunt and all that. But let me tell you something. It's not a hoax and a witch hunt, and the truth is about to come out. And of course, his supporters don't think it's the truth because anything that they disagree with is a lie. So, but we all, common sense thinking people know the truth, and they know that he probably lied, and he probably colluded with the Russians, and probably colluded with WikiLeaks to find dirt on Hillary Clinton. So let's not believe him and think that there's nothing there, because there is something there. One of his close advisors, Roger Stone's assistant, Jerome Corsi, reportedly is close to a plea deal with Mueller. He said last week he thought he was going to be indicted. So he's close to a plea deal. Of course, Roger Stone continues to deny that there's any link between him and WikiLeaks and the Trump campaign, which by the day it becomes more apparent that there was. That the WikiLeaks release of documents was a coordinated effort to harm the Clinton campaign and to, interfere with our election. It looks like it was a coordinated effort. There's more evidence every day. We're going to find out. So, with that being said, I have another subject that I find very disturbing. I saw a post from a Facebook friend today of a police video of a traffic stop. And look, no one has to tell me that traffic stops are dangerous. We all know that traffic stops are very dangerous for police. And I totally understand that. And I felt it was horrible this summer when the police officer in Menor was, killed in a traffic stop. But when traffic stops are unnecessary and they're targeted traffic stops, and then the officer bullies the person he stops while the person is trying to get their license out of their wallet. I saw a Facebook video today that happened right here, locally, to a guy who was a good citizen, a teaching assistant, had his son in the car. He was pulled from the car by the police officer. The police officer said, "Stop resisting," when all the guy was doing is getting his license out. It was taking him a while to get his license out of his wallet. Sometimes, you have trouble. Hey, you're nervous. Hey, why would an African American guy be nervous when he's stopped by the cops? Not for any other reason than he's African American nowadays. He gets stopped by the cops, and he's got something to worry about automatically today. And it is dead wrong. It's dead wrong. This video shows that this officer was nothing but a bully. Nothing but a bully. He estimated that the guy was speeding. He didn't even have real proof. He didn't even have his radar gun on. He estimated that the guy was speeding. Pulls the guy from his car, handcuffs him. Another cop says he's going to tase him. Oh, well, his kid is in the car. The funny thing is the guy knew it was coming. He could tell it was coming. He knew what was happening. absolutely knew what was happening. And I know the guy who posted this video. He is a great guy. Graduated from Wycliffe. He's a teacher. He's not some guy who is not up on what life's about and how things happen in the world. He's a pretty smart guy. He posted this video. He's a smart guy. But he got argued with. Of course he got argued with by the same people that always argue against black people. Of course the people that argued with him say the same racist things over and over again. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame if you see the video and you hear it, and you hear his son in the background, how scared and upset his son is. For what? For what? Just because the guy was African American? So he got stopped? Horrible. The video happened in East Cleveland on Taylor Boulevard. So if you see it, Taylor Road in East Cleveland. So if you hear about this, take a look at the video. And you'll see what African American people are up against nowadays. And it's horrible. It's horrible. So I want to end the show on a positive note tonight. I want to end the show tonight in a very positive way. Tomorrow, my wife and I are very honored. We'll be attending the wedding of a friend of mine. His name is Derek Sharp. He is marrying his fiancée, Caitlin. They're getting married tomorrow. And it will be an honor to attend his wedding and to see him celebrate this very special day in his life. I've only known him for a couple years, but he's one of the greatest people I ever knew in my life. He's a former military veteran, served in the Middle East. I helped him out when he coached JV baseball in Wycliffe. And it was one of the best times of my life, helping him out and being in the dugout with him. So by this time tomorrow night, my friend Derek Sharp will be married. And he'll be on the road to a lifetime of happiness with Caitlin. So I hope everyone can wish them good luck, because these are two people who truly deserve to have a good life. I'll see everyone on Monday. We'll be talking more sports and more politics on Monday. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Have a good night, everybody.